On this possession, Houston ran off 18 plays and held the ball for 9 minutes and 20 seconds. It all ended when Carpenter dove in from the 1 to close the gap to 23-14. New England then had the ball for one play, on which Grogan's pass to Harold Jackson was intercepted by number 19, Willie Alexander. Now, despite an occasional setback, the Oilers began a 15-play drive that chewed up 6 more minutes. At one point on 4th and 4, the Oilers faked a field goal, and Carpenter gained 18 yards on the bewildered Patriots defense. Then Earl Campbell dove in to make it 23-20. A rout was now a barn burner. When the Oiler defense stopped the Patriots cold, Pastorini returned to work. First, he hit Ken Burrow for 26 yards. Then, with 4th and a foot at the Patriot 9, the Oilers disdained what would have been the tying field goal and went for broke. However, they didn't break, but picked up 2 yards in the first down. A delay of game penalty followed, and with 2nd and goal at the 10, the Oilers' uphill struggle became a downhill hayride when Pastorini to Richard Castor, number 88, made it Houston 26, New England 23. The Oilers' comeback against such a tough opponent was one of the truly amazing turnarounds of this season, and could well be the rallying point that will carry the Never Say Die Houston team into the playoffs. For Bum Phillips, things couldn't have been any sweeter. And while a division title for his team is still only a remote possibility, the Houston win did make a division title a very near reality for the Miami Dolphins. Immediately cut back left and ad-libbed 6 points. Quick and decisive adjustments like this have helped make Williams the first 1,000-yard rusher in the league this season. The Bills, however, came right back on a strong running attack of their own as they moved 64 yards to tie the game, with 44 of those yards coming on the ground. Curtis Brown, number 47, and Roland Hooks, number 25, gained 28 yards on back-to-back plays, and Buffalo was on the Miami 1-yard line. A 5-yard penalty moved the Bills back, but with its 2nd and goal, watch the center of the screen and notice tight end Reuben Gant, number 88, as he crosses the field, losing his man and getting Ferguson's touchdown pass. The Bills may not have replaced O.J. yet, but Brown, Hooks, and number 1 draft pick Terry Miller are helping the Bills' rushing offense. That made Simpson's old Buffalo running mate Bill Braxton available in the trade that sent him to Miami. Last week, number 34 came back to hurt his old mates. A 15-yard run by Braxton keyed a Dolphin drive that culminated with a Garo Yepremian 47-yard field goal, and Miami led again 10-7. But this time, the Bills could not answer back as poor execution buffaloed the Bills and stalled their drive. The Dolphins did not look any smoother on their next drive either, as they failed to complete the acts common to the game of football. Bob Greasy did, however, do a pretty fair job on a two-handed chest pass to lead a Dolphin fast break toward the end zone. Then Matt Moore flat-out beat the Buffalo secondary, but could not catch Greasy's pass, momentarily sparing the Bills. reprieve didn't last long. From the Buffalo 26, Delvin Williams skirted left end, and with a fine individual effort, scored his second touchdown of the game. While there is no discounting the individual ability Williams exhibited, the touchdown was a team effort. Ever since the Buffalo needed a couple of first downs to move into field goal range and snap the Dolphin domination over them. Williams obviously thought he had been fouled on the play, but the squawk he put up was nothing in comparison to Roland Hook's contention that he made a first down catch on the Miami 35. Officials ruled Hooks had trapped the ball, and the Bills rushed once more, knowing that if he did not get it done this time, the Redskins were in trouble. Jim Marshall's pressure shorted Kilmer's first hoped-for connection, but from that point on, the pass protection held up, and Billy Kilmer completed 4 excruciatingly clutch passes. The fourth completion went to Frank Grant for the touchdown, and Mark Mosley's point after brought back the smiles to Redskin faithful. Only 40 seconds were left when the Redskins went on top 31-30. But on the Vikings sideline, sinister forces were at work. Fran Tarkenton was not about to give up center stage, even if it was for only 40 seconds and could ruin a happily ever after ending for the Redskins. With 3 totally different maneuvers, he threw a scare into George Allen and his Skins. The first was a roll right, throw left to Foreman for 20 yards. Step 2 was a scramble forward, throw right to Brent McClanahan for 19 more. Then it was a roll left, throw left to Stu Voigt for 17 yards to the Washington 28. With 5 seconds left, a whole season would come down to one kick. For the Vikings, a successful kick meant a continuation of a perfect season. But that is merely frosting, for the Vikings are already playoff qualified. But for George Allen and the Redskins, a successful kick meant an almost impossible path to the playoffs and a virtual end to their season. Fred Cox lined up a 45-yarder that could be the final nail in the Redskins' coffin. Washington had survived as number 79 Ron McDowell deflected the kick and saved the Redskins. The Viking dream of a perfect season had ended. But of much greater importance is the fact that the Redskins season continues. They now trail Dallas and St. Louis by 1 game. They have 1 game left with the Cowboys, whom they have already beaten once. If they beat them again and finish tied with Dallas, Washington will be in the playoffs. The playoffs that just moments before seemed so far away.
And 20 yards rushing. Keeping pace with McCutcheon was the fine old second-year vet Jim Bertelsen. Bertelsen had 143 yards on the ground. And when the runners got him in close enough, John Hadel lobbed a mortar shot into number 88, Pat Curran. Following that, Hadel laid one in softly on Larry McCutcheon, and the Rams were never headed. The Chiefs, without the injured Lenny Dawson, just couldn't get going, as number 64, Jack Reynolds, turned this Mike Livingston pass all the way around. Reynolds' run back got the Rams in close enough for a new-look field goal by holder Steve Priest, number 20. And in the new-look game plan, a field goal will get you 6 and a 23-0 lead. Finally, ex-Ram Pete Beathard pumped the Chiefs up long enough for 2 late scores. But it was not enough to overcome the new image of the golden-clad Rams, who held on to win 23-13.
The Rams look very good in their opener, Tom, but this week they face an early showdown with the new tough guys of the NFC West, the Atlanta Falcons.
That's right. I don't know what my old buddy Norm Van Brocklin fed his birds last week, but I have a feeling it must have been birdseed mixed with buckshot.
There was no way anyone in New Orleans could have been prepared for the kind of opening day new coach John North and his Saints had awaiting them. Archie Manning did deliver a touchdown pass to Bill Butler. But for the rest of the day, Archie and his replacement, Bob Davis, had a somewhat difficult afternoon. Claude Humphrey and his Atlanta Falcon friends had an old-fashioned Southern picnic, running back fumbles and intercepting passes, 6 in all, one for a lightning score by cornerback Tom Hayes. And then there was number 11, semi-forgotten taxi man Dick Shiner. Art Malone was devastating with a downfield pass or with a goal line blast. But last week, Dick Shiner's favorite Falcons were his wide receivers, one of them Wes Chesson, number 81. Dick Shiner's other wide receiver was dangerous Ken Burrow, a master of the delayed spike. One score was called back, but on 2 other occasions, Shiner made sure that Burrow could demonstrate his spiking versatility. In all, 10-year veteran Dick Shiner hit on 13 of 15 passes and 3 touchdowns. "38 points later, Shiner was replaced by number 19, Bob Lee, who completed 4 of 7. The final touchdowns were credited to unsung names like Eddie Ray and Joe Profit. Despite 6 fumbles and 2 missed field goals, the Falcons still managed almost 700 yards in total offense and an 8th consecutive victory over New Orleans, 62-7.
Doug Williams is back. Lobs it into the end zone. He's got Didier. Touchdown!
Hi, I'm Doug Williams, and you're watching Classic Sports Network.
Well, let's start off with a pretty tough one, San Francisco at Denver.
At Denver, that may be the key, you know. What do you think about the Nolan's team, though, San Francisco?
Well, last week against the Dolphins, they played, I think, a pretty good first half. It looked like a solid football team, but once Brody left, they just sort of fell apart, not only on offense, but on defense as well. So I don't know. I think there's still a question mark.
They still need a running back, don't they?
They have not been able to get a running attack going for almost as long as I can remember.
I don't believe Denver can block that real good front four, though, for San Francisco. I have a feeling the 49ers will bounce back. I'll go with San Francisco.
All right, I'll pick Denver then.
Okay.
Atlanta at Los Angeles. That looks like a good one.
It is. I saw the Rams, as I told you, beat Kansas City. I think Los Angeles will settle that thing. I think they'll beat Atlanta.
Even after the Falcons scored 62 points against New Orleans.
Well, that's right. And Dutchman's going back to the West Coast.
I know it. And he's got some not-so-fond memories of the West Coast. I'll go with Atlanta then.
Okay, and I'll go with the Rams. Miami at Oakland.
Well, the Dolphins seem to have put it all back together after those 2 late preseason losses. They look solid again against San Francisco, so I got to go with Miami.
You know, people are saying this, but Don Shula's got to be a very, very complete coach. I'll have to go with Miami, too.
All right, you got him. At any rate, we'll be back next week to show you what happens. I'm Pat Summerall.
And I'm Tom Brookshier, and we'll see you next week.